Hello and welcome back to my channel. Or welcome to my channel if you're new here. Um I know the title is a bit triggering, and that is my actual meaning, I meant for you to get triggered. So you would actually give a shit about this video because we are filthy human beings today, and that's how we react or respond to things. It triggers us. We're gonna find interest in that. So today I want to talk about feminism in our world today. Everybody knows what the fuck happened, right? With the feminist movements around the world, right? That basically don't really give a shit about all women. Let's get into it, right? Let's get into it. On I don't like opening up with war like that, right? Because I'm a very idealist person, even though I'm very overexposed right now. I'm a very idealist person, right? And that means that peace and love. I'm like Finland, if I was like a country, I would probably be Finland. I don't have an army because why even get into a war? Peace and love, man. Equal rights to everybody, free college, what the fuck, free healthcare. But that's a very idealistic approach, and it doesn't really get you anywhere in this life of today, unless you're in Finland, which I have plans, one day, open up a art studio in Finland to half a year, just live in my art studio, and just breathe art in Europe. No, anyway, my whole point is that I'm gonna start with war today because that is the state of our lives right now. Anywhere, there's war literally in so many places right now. And, astrologically, it is proven that the wars are only gonna keep going and getting worse these couple of next years. So, brace yourselves, okay? I, as you can clearly see, am Slavic. But what kind of Slavic? Well, I'm half Russian and half Ukrainian. The conflict is in my blood. So, I want to talk a bit about wars, right? Because, and how feminism has to do with it. Because not only am I Russian Ukrainian, right? So, I have this conflict as well to deal with and, carry, right? And just advocate for and all of that, literally my grandmom's house was bombed in Ukraine, she had to come here to Israel, which is my next point. I live in Israel. I am Jewish. Another reason for the world to fucking hate me. And if you couldn't tell, I'm a human, which is also something we don't like as humans, yeah. But I'm a woman as well. And something that, wars take advantage of most of the times is women, Because who is going to war? Men. Who are the victims? Women, children, and elderly people. It has always been this way. Every war has been this way, okay? Now, my thing is about this whole situation, right? Worldwide. I'm not even talking about the place where I live or where my grandmom lives, which is Ukraine. I'm not talking even about the war that's going in so many other places right now, right? Because it's not about a specific thing. It's about the way we react to it as a society, right? As a Western evolved society, as a woke society that we claim to be advocating for equality and love and equal rights and equal opportunity. But at the end of the day, we don't really believe in those things. Even the liberal college students on the campuses, right? That's what they preach most of the times. Most of the times those people preach those notions. Well, they don't even believe that themselves. Let me get into that, right? Because massacre that happened on 7th of October, right, included trigger warning, every video of mine is I'm a trigger, okay? I can't help it, okay? So if you got triggered, I don't know, drink some water. I don't know what the fuck, like, grow up. I don't know, like, grow up. Just, oh, you got triggered. Yeah, I get triggered, like, every day, okay? It doesn't mean I'm gonna stop, like, bawling my eyes out, Sorry, I got heated. I should calm the fuck down. I don't have a joint with me today. That's why I'm heated, I'm not like, yeah, whatever, dude. Like, you suck. Like, you're so no. Like, I'm here because I actually want to talk about this. Because, well, you might be a stupid dumbass who actually supports women dying. And you don't know that, right? So that's why I'm here, And you could be a woman, too, who supports women dying. Because of their I'll get to that, okay? So, on the 7th of October, there was the huge massacre in Israel, whatever, You know the story. Everybody knows the story. You cannot run away from it, right? And, almost every feminist organization, almost every socialist, I guess, or like, yeah, I guess socialist organization, like, and cultural organization, whatever, all of those people didn't say one word, not even one word. Well, they might think that it's not real, but we'll get to that too, because on the 7th of October, right, women were elderly women, children like 5 years old, like babies, like teens like myself, like 40-year-old women, like all of the spectrum, right? And you can't say, oh, but she was like this, oh no, but she was like, no, look, women of every age, every background, and the terrorists did not know that. They didn't even care, they saw a person that they thought were Jewish, so they were like, psh, that's it, deal, that's done, Oh, actually, no, it wasn't like that, because then they were like, psh, let's rape them, let's mutilate their bodies, let's drag them across the streets, that's so fun, and activism. Yeah. So when that happened to women of all backgrounds and all ages, whatever, like I have stated, babies, women that were raped in front of their, like, families, and in front of bodies also of people living in their neighborhood, that they just see them headless and fucking bleeding everywhere, and everybody has a bullet in them, and they get fucking raped, or like they get sexually mutilated, or they get kidnapped. There is the, of course, most iconic girl that, she had like the braids and everything from the party, that was not only assaulted, mutilated, tortured, right, but also dragged by her hair as a trophy, with people seeing her, spitting on her, like cheering, people, Hamas terrorists, right? That's where they were celebrating the fact that, look at my trophy, look at this. That's a woman that they're pulling by her hair and spitting on her and dragging her down a fucking road. None of those activism women said anything bad about that. Actually, they kind of condone that. They do condone that. You know why? Because they're anti-Semitic. Yeah, they're anti-Semitic. Well, you don't have to believe me. They say it themselves. Perhaps they don't say the words anti-Semitic, but their behavior, like their behavior is not different than a KKK activist, like it's not different, What does it take for somebody to take women seriously, women of actually marginalized groups? Do you see how right now Israeli women are actually the marginalized groups that nobody fucking gives a shit about? Feminist organizations don't give a shit about marginalized Israeli women. Why? Because, they're white. They deserved it because they're oppressors. Do you have a daughter? Do you have a niece? Do you have a sister? Do you want that to happen to them? Of course not. Nobody would want anything like that to happen to their loved ones. So why do you want that to happen to us, Israeli women? You know, that is my question. Are you a feminist? Do you really care about women's rights? Or are you just an activist for your specific group, which is liberal women of this specific race or this specific background? Kind of seems like that is the case, you know, because even on places like Cosmopolitan and BuzzFeed and like what is it called, like the you know, all of those like woke liberal like news outlets and shit like that, it's always I don't want to say it like that, you know, but it's always like not white women, right, talking about how like white women have it easier and like white women oppress them, and like they would never talk about how they oppress other people. White women could be in those people that they oppress, you know, because like they make us believe that they make us believe that if they're marginalized, they cannot be oppressors. Like, what? Like, that makes no sense, you know? Well, they're not being marginalized. You know how many, like, Arabic countries there are in the world? There's only one Israeli country. I think there's, like, 60 Muslim countries. Perhaps less than 60. I'm not that big on geography, right? But I'm big on common sense. And, well, I don't think we can actually be oppressors if people are attacking our nation and coming to rape our women, our mothers and sisters and grandmas, and burning them alive, or like burning them after they died. I don't care, like that makes it any better, you know. All of the world just would believe did believe the Palestinian women like that. You know, that I even saw at the beginning, I saw like one pro-Palestinian post that was just like, they told us that those videos we saw are of Israeli women, but it's actually Palestinian women, and it's just like, and it is Israeli women being beat, being, you know, being raped, you know, shit like that. And they're saying like, they are lying to us, these are Palestinian women and we need to take care of them. And because if it's like Israeli women, you don't need to give a shit. They're not oppressed. Like, this is not bad because they're Israeli. Oh yeah. Oh no, they're Jewish. They had it coming. They had it coming. Are you stupid? Do you? Why is a Jewish person different than a black person in your opinion? You're saying I will not even get into the Black Lives Matter movement, who literally said from the river to the sea Palestine will be free, like who fucking blindly supported fucking terrorism. Even Ronnie Radke saw this and was Ronnie fucking Radke, okay, saw from falling in reverse and escaped the fate, okay. Like, what the fuck? Even this person, I'm not saying, like, anything bad about him, but, like, he has nothing to do with it, you know? Even he saw the fucking Black Lives Matter post about how they support Palestine and whatever, and it's, like, a great thing what they did, you know? And they, like, hosted, like, a fundraiser, whatever, for Palestinian refugees or whatever. I don't know, you know? So he was like, what the fuck? Like, this is not an activist movement. This is a terrorist organization in disguise. You know? And I think now we know that about most of the liberal, feminist, minority organizations, right? Because we are a minority. Me and you guys. I guess you could not be a minority, but it doesn't really matter, you know? Because even if you were, at the hour of need, they probably wouldn't give a shit about you. And if you're not a minority, they hate you. They hate you, you know? Because, I don't know, that's their agenda, you know? I don't know why they hate us, Jews. I don't know, you know? They say like we control the financial system and we control the world. And yeah, so like why are we only one country? Explain this to me right now. Why are we only one country, and how haven't we fucking mutilated Gaza already? Like, I would do that. If I was in control of the entire world, why would I not eliminate my threat right then and there? I can make it go away with the press. I control the world. That makes no sense, guys. Because if we had control over the entire world, we wouldn't be in this fucking situation. Like, we wouldn't, because we would have the resources to not get into this situation and to begin with. Beats me. Hold on, let me turn off the heater because it's too warm. Anyway, they also didn't believe Jewish women's experiences. Right? And I'm talking about organizations like the UN, organizations again like Black Lives Matter, again like journalism of like Cosmopolitan, places like that, liberal, very liberal places that on organizations, right, that usually would stand for the underdog, would be there for all women, all of a sudden they're not there for all women. They actually don't care about Jewish women. They actually blame them and say they had it coming. The women of the UN organization. Tell me, as a Jewish woman, do you feel safe knowing that the women's rights organization doesn't support you because you're Jewish? I mean, today is Jewish people, but tomorrow it could be Slavic people, it could be Indians, it could be Native Americans, it could be fucking, I don't know, Germans, it could be anything, because those groups, I mean the terrorist organizations and the groups who support the terrorist organizations, they have stated that the whole goal is to take over the world. And everybody seems to like turn a blind eye on that, right? Everybody seems to be like, oh no, they don't really mean that. And then there will be another 9/11 happening. Maybe then people would be like, oh yeah, but what would happen then? Women's right, feminist movement, whatever organization is gonna be like, oh, but they were marginalized. They were marginalized in our American society, and now they must take revenge, because we did this to them. Like, it's like white guilt of like reparations and shit. It's like the same thing, It's literally the same thing. But where I'm going with this is, I think we, as women who actually support equal rights for all women, I'm talking about even if this person is Muslim, is Jewish, is Christian, is Yemenis, is Indian, like I said, is fucking Swedish, like, that doesn't matter. All women, we are humans. We are not less than humans, right? Not because we are Jewish, not because our skin color, not because our background, if we are rich, we are not rich, if we have a family, we don't have a family, we have kids, we don't have kids. Like, this world is so corrupt. And every corporation would be corrupt as well in our world, because there is no way a corporation could exist because of the astrological alignments and shit like that. I'm not gonna get into that, but it's corrupted. Almost every organization that exists, because it cannot be changed. This is our nature as humans, right? So I'm saying, why don't we, as actually feminist women, create a movement of actually feminist women who want equality for literally everybody? But when I say everybody, I mean not people who break the laws in a sense of like commit heinous crimes. You know what I mean? Because like when you commit a heinous crime, you know, I'm not a fan of the death penalty, right? I don't like the death penalty. I would say that I'm anti death penalty, you know, because that is a belief that you don't deserve the right to live anymore, right? But I do believe that there are different punishments for crimes that do, you know, like world in prison and shit like that, that do service for our society. You can't sit here and be fucking stupid idealist, you know? There's a common sense idealist and there's stupid idealist, you know? And if you're a stupid idealist, I spat so much, then you think that if you put murderers in jail, that is not fair because they're humans too, then you're stupid. I'm sorry, you know. Oh, but she's a woman. What if she killed someone? She's just a woman, you know. We love women. No, that's fucked too. That's not equality. People today don't fucking understand the meaning of the word equality. I will suggest maybe you look it up on Wikipedia or something, or like read a book. Have you ever picked up a book in your life? Because it doesn't seem this way. You're using those people are using fucking terminology that actually using terminology that describes what the other group is doing, but actually saying we as Jewish people are doing it, you know. And I know I kind of like slid from the topic, which is like feminism, you know, and I'm talking more about like equal rights as humans, but I do believe that specifically feminism always got backlash, and all the time people were having a hard time getting used to the feminist ideology, right? Because sometimes they didn't even know what the feminist ideology really was, because people were fucking like, I guess like washing. I wanted to say whitewashing, but like that, it's not whitewashing. It's actually misogyny washing feminism, you know? It's like feminism was always hard to digest for the world, because like people always thought that this means exactly what like they think the way that men think about women, which is they are worth less than us, you know? Like feminists think, and some do, men are worthless, are less than us, are evil, you know? All of these things, you know, are more privileged, are this and this and that, you know? And like we want to take away their rights. That's what they believe, right? Because, you know, feminism got into so many like, I guess what makes it make sense for me is that there is like egalitarian feminisms. I'm saying that right? I think I'm saying that right. Because I'm pretending that I know something about politics. I actually do know a thing or two, but not really the terminology. I know it more like of a like common sense understanding, you know. But there's like this side of common sense feminists, and there's like feminazis, you know, who is like women, they can't get paychecks like men, and we can never do it because men are in power and they're privileged and they are controlling this world, right? Do you kind of like recognize the terminology? Oh, they control the world and we're just like poor victims. Oh, and there's the actual real feminists who are like, we are all equal. We deserve the same rights. We have the same rights. We can live the same lives. We don't have to be pregnant and barefoot in the kitchen. We have our own credit cards. We have our own bank accounts. We have our own autonomy over ourselves. You know, I just saw, right, this documentary about about Dubai, and how in Dubai, people, like women specifically, weren't allowed to drive. Until not long ago, they were not allowed to drive, and it was illegal for them to drive. And if they would have talked about it publicly, about the fact that they want to drive and they can't, they got sent to prison. They did. Some of them that were more vocal were categorized as an enemy of the state, as a traitor, basically, and got sent to jail. Do you feminists give a shit about that, or do you just give a shit about, like, Palestinian women? Do you? Because I don't think so. Because I don't see people saying, oh my god, like, let's, because the whole thing in Dubai is that, like, a woman is basically a minor, right? She doesn't have her own autonomy. She is owned by either her father, or if she doesn't have a father, then her brother, and if she doesn't have a brother, then her son. And if she doesn't have a son, then you're no one's property, you don't exist, I'm sorry. Or like, it's extremely frowned upon, whatever, you know. Usually they would just like marry them anyway, you know, and then the husband will be like the chaperone, you know, because women at any age cannot have autonomy for themselves in Dubai, and they are working in a feminist way to change that, because they do know that they do deserve equal rights to men. But those feminist activists wouldn't say anything about that, right? They wouldn't say anything about that because they want to believe that Islam is perfect. I don't know why the liberal movement wants to believe that Islam is perfect. It has always been this way. Like, I get it because, like, in the Western world, Christianity is, like, very pushed down your throats. But here, Judaism is as well. You know? So it's not like it took common sense away from us to, like, be like, oh my god, terrorism is so fun. Like, no, you know? Like, I'm not saying Islam is terrorism. I'm saying people who think Islam is cool on the liberal, you know, spectrum, especially in college campuses. That's where we're mainly talking about, students in college campuses, because those young people are going to be our presidents, our doctors, our politicians. Like, they're going up to be those people in charge, you know? They are the brains of our generation. So that's why it's, like, so baffling to me that the brains of our generations are actually so fucking stupid, you know? They want to believe that Islam is cool. So if Islamic Jihad is under Islam, they're not gonna be, they would, you know, be understanding and be like, oh yeah, but it's their faith. But it's their faith to kill people. You have your faith. What is wrong with that? You know, my faith doesn't involve killing anyone. I actually don't believe in war, even. I am a Taoist. I hate all of you. All of you humans, I fucking hate you guys. You know, if I could just, like, be a monk, just go to the fucking mountains, right? Just, like, sit there in stillness and just, like, experience stillness and just, like, become one with the universe, you know? But I fucking can't, because I have to be, like, a fucking, I don't know, advocate and, like, help the world in some Aquarius ass way. I don't give a shit, okay? You guys are pissing me the fuck off because you have no fucking common sense in your little tiny ass minds, right? So you're not gonna say that Islamic Jihad is bad because you don't want people from your liberal circle to think you said Islam is bad. And it's basically identity politics that got us into this situation to begin with, right? Our tolerance and identity politics and, like, being politically correct and whatever, this got us to where we are now. People are afraid to say, people who do think something is wrong are also afraid to say it, you know? People who are anti-Islamic Jihad and terrorism, you know, are afraid to say it because people are gonna call them racist. Oh, you're anti-Islamic Jihad, so you're anti-Islam. So you're racist. You hate Arabs, even though not all Arabs are Muslim and not all Muslims are Arabs, but okay, because, like, you know, they're so stupid that they don't even know that, because They haven't been to any Muslim country in their life. What the fuck? Did you hear that? The sky is opening. They're taking me. Please, right now, save me. I don't want to be in this fucking demonic world anymore. Ugh. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is that it doesn't matter where you come from, right? Doesn't matter what your background is. Doesn't matter what your beliefs are, unless it includes killing people and like immoral activities. Like if somebody is has like a demonic cult, right? It's a minority, demonic cults. Like I don't see much. So imagine a demonic cult. What they do in their rituals, they do like a ritual like once a year. And what they do for their rituals is that they take, I'm just pulling that shit out my ass, right? They take like 13 people and they cut their limbs and put them on a pentagram and burn them for their demon gods, right? They're a minority. They're marginalized. Nobody understands demonic summonings in this day and age. They are just alone and misunderstood. All they need is to satisfy their fucking demonic gods. Well, oh yeah, of course they need to like murder 13 people and take off their limbs and then burn them their limbs on a pentagram, yeah? But it's just like, it's just their belief. What the fuck do you want? Do you want them to stop believing what they believe? Fuck you. This sounds outrageous to you. You're like, what the fuck? But it's literally exactly what is happening with the Hamas terrorists and the Palestinian movement. They're basically saying, but this terrorist organization, this demonic cult is marginalized, and they are just practicing their beliefs. You have beliefs too. It's that kind of like mentality. But if somebody would say anything like that about a demonic cult, you would never see this level of acceptance, right? You will never see this level of acceptance. I feel like what is the main reason of everything that is happening, in that sense, is white guilt. Because the Western world, especially like Britain and America, North America, very like have a lot of white guilt, because they are colonizers. They call us Israeli colonizers, but do you know that Israel was under a British colony? It was never under a Palestinian authority, ever, in the entire world. You can check every history you fucking want. You can check every book you want. Yeah, Muhammad said that it is also our nation, whatever. I don't know where you fucking get your ideas of the fact that we are colonizers, yeah, but we were actually colonized by the British people. And we had to fight the British to actually release ourselves from the colonization. And we are colonizers? What? Saying the actual Americans and British people who are literally empires of colonization. Like, what? I feel like it is the case because they don't want to take responsibility of the crimes, the heinous crimes they did. I'm not saying people who are alive now. I'm saying the nation, right? The nation of like Britain, England, America, how do we even have America? They fucking slaughtered all the indigenous people, the actual original American people. They fucking slaughtered all of them. Now, yeah, they have a few cities here and there, Navajo Nation, shit like that. Just so they keep the culture, right? But they are a minority in their own fucking place. You know what I mean? They are Americans, but those fucking Europeans came and like slaughtered all of them to just like make it a colony, to make it a cute little white nation, And I feel like that's why many like young people of the Western world today, especially Britain and America, they don't want to be like their ancestors. And I do understand. I really do understand, you know? Like, I don't want to be a fucking slave in Egypt like my ancestors. Like, I wouldn't want that, you know? So, like, that's why you do something to change it, you know? So, I was about to say something. Yeah. Karma is quite a bitch, you know, because, like, yeah, is like Jewish people in history, we were actually enslaved to Egypt, to like the kingdom of Egypt at that time, whatever. But like then, you know, I have like Polish roots and shit like that, and like, you know, they a long time ago, like centuries ago, had slaves themselves, which I don't condone, because I feel like humans should have autonomy for themselves. You see? Yeah, all humans, even if I don't like them. It's not that I have something against Polish people. No, I'm just explaining you the story, right? And how, like, it makes sense. How, like, even if my family did something, doesn't mean that I need to feel guilty for it. And doesn't mean that, but I can do something to change it, you know? So it will not come back, you know? Basically, what I'm saying is that white people in America and England don't want to come across as not accepting, don't want to come across as colonizers, as oppressors, because they know this is how society already sees them, right? So when they see an opportunity to like stand for a marginalized group, which is more like if they like, because I guess Islam is the most frowned upon religion. I guess it's the most frowned upon religion for like very good you know, reasons, I would say. I'm not saying there is any bad thing with Islam inherently. It's like the same as any other Abrahamic religion, right? It's after the translations and shit like that hell broke loose, you know what I mean? But like, because there was this like stigma on Islam, people of the Western world, especially women, you know, of the Western world, wanted to stick out for those people of the Muslim communities, you know? And, you know, most of the people in America and England are Europeans, right? Which means it's probably German descent, probably like Polish descent, shit like that, you know? So Germans, you know, perhaps could have some notions and ideas against Jewish people that they could like hand down generations, you know, like Russian peoples do against Arabic people and black people. You know, I'm not gonna sit here and say, oh, my family is not racist. No, my mom is racist. She is racist against Arabic people. But I don't condone that, because I don't care if you are Arabic or not. I care about the fact that, are you supporting anti-Semitism and the terrorist organization, or are you a normal person with a fucking normal common sense and a normal mind, you know what I mean? Even though I have murderous tendencies, I keep it to my books. I write books, I write poetry, I draw. I don't go out on the streets and kill people. Because if I would do that, you would have a second Jeffrey Dahmer. Like, for real, you know? So, I'm guessing my thing is that people today, even though they aren't anti-Semitic, they are so, like, stuck on this idea that the Palestinians, that, like, the Islam is the thing that is oppressed, you know? Islam is not, it's frowned upon. It's like not something you can actually be proud of, you know? That's how they think of Muslim people, which is inherently racist. not racist, but just like how do you say it, like, about a religion, like, because it's not a race. Like, Islam is a fucking religion, but like people are undermining them because they're Muslim, and they're saying, oh no, they're oppressed because they're Muslim, and everything they do is because they can't do anything else, you know. And I'm just going on a rant here, but basically I'm just like annoyed by the fact that most of the people who were like taking down hostages posters were women, Palestinian activists of women who were taking down hostage posters of like kids and women and people. And basically what I'm trying to say is that we need to care about humans as humans in our society. I don't give a shit about where you come from. I don't give a shit about who your father is, who your ancestors are. I don't give a shit what religion you are, as long as it doesn't call for my extermination, you know? Because no, I don't see any other religion who calls for the extermination of a nation, you know? And Islam also doesn't call for the extermination of a nation. There are actually Muslim people who are living life without violence, life without war, life in peace, life with worshipping God, worshipping Allah, whatever, you know, because they believe in the core values of the Abrahamic religion, not the murderous translations that came afterwards, you know, not the brainwashing, you know, not all of these things. There aren't many of them, but they do exist, you know. And I do want to clarify also that like it doesn't mean that all Muslims are bad, and you also shouldn't think this way. Like I know from like a very close, you know, distance that like people in my country right now, after like the heinous attack, they fucking hate Muslims because, you know, Islamic Jihad is basically calling for our extinction. They, you know, you get rewarded when you kill a Jew, so like, so of course like we would hate them in some way as a society, right? But me personally, I don't hate anyone. Like I said, I support in peace and love. I'm a fucking Taoist, okay? I believe we as a fucking worldwide group of humans, you know, because that's all we are. We are all a group of humans, you know. We were plants one day. We all came from like an amoeba or like from God, whatever you fucking believe in, you know. I believe more in like the creation of God, whatever. But if you believe in evolution, then you should be even more inclined to the idea that we are all equal, you know, because we all came from like literally the same things from nature, right? Whatever. I want you to today, let's do it together. Let's today do something good for our feminist movement. Let's uplift women, you know. Let's you know, validate their experiences. Let's not hate other women, other people. Let's not condone hate. Even if people are oppressed, it doesn't mean that they should hate someone else, you know. Like, do we as Jewish people hate Germans because of the Holocaust? No, most of us are fucking Germans. Like, you know what I mean? Like, do we hate Ukrainian people because they rat us out to the Nazis? No, a lot of Ukrainians, Jewish Ukrainians, live in Israel like every other Ukrainian, you know, even though they, you know what I mean? You know, like, even though we're oppressed, we still don't hate. That's why our military is literally called the military of defense for Israel. Not attack, not anything. Defense. Because, you know, we're just like 18-year-olds in this military. It's 18-year-olds in the military, you know, because they must do it, you know. It's not like some big force. It's like literally kids in our military. Another thing that I want to say before I close this video and I wrap this up, because I've been rambling for like a long time. I want to say that if you do care about the Palestinian women, how about caring about their rights in Palestine? How about actually caring about what the fuck is going on in Gaza? Did you see the doctor, or like the medic that was the Palestinian medic that is in Gaza, and she is saying that Hamas ran away, took all the medicine, took all the money, took all the fucking food, and they, for like what they did, the Hamas people and like people they recruited from Gaza, because it's like an indoctrination. They get indoctrinated, and they follow the doctrine, So if you're in a vulnerable enough state, which people in Gaza are, they don't have usually a home, something to eat, like a normal like living life, no, because everybody's like killing everyone, everybody's like ruining everything, everyone is like bombing each other. Like, I'm not saying about like even inside of Gaza, but just like outside, that's all they know, so like they're in a very vulnerable state, which you can literally so easily involve them in your doctrine and indoctrinate them. So that's what they did. And when they did that, they promised them like jobs, and they promised them money, and they promised them houses and shit like that, and none of that came true. Like, they just left. The Hamas leaders are in fucking Qatar, are in fucking like, in places of great wealth, when the people who were like indoctrinated are being abused by their own government. And I want to say to you as a feminist, right, because I believe in all women's rights, Palestinian women don't have rights. They do not have rights. You know that if they commit adultery, the husband or father or brother is obligated to kill them. Obligated. Like, it's a like, how do you say it, a good thing. Like, they get spiritually rewarded for it, by their belief, if they kill her, because she is a shame to the family, right? Let's not even talk about the fact that they cannot show their face, they cannot show their anything, their hair, anything. Why? Because they're less than human in Palestine, in Gaza. They're less than human, So if you actually care about those Palestinian women, stop pointing your fucking guns at Israel, and stop pointing your guns at the terrorist organizations that are suppressing everybody. Not only women, not only kids, not only elderly people, not only trapping them in this place that they cannot go anywhere else, not only threatening their lives, that if they get any other help, they will kill them before they do. No, like, if you can, don't, I know that the easiest way to support, you might think, is sending money to Gaza, but this money, like I told you, like everybody is fucking telling you guys, even people from Gaza are telling you, this money doesn't come to us, they come to the leaders that are in control of the government. They got elected in the elections of 2007, or 2006, if I'm not mistaken, like, because since 2005, Gaza has been its own place, not under Israel authority, So when they had elections, they elected Hamas. Kind of like what happened with Hitler, that everybody elected Hitler, and then he just stayed there. It's like the same thing, Which is also, yes, me saying that it's the same scale, Like, it's the same scale. If you support this, you support that. You support Palestinian, like, jihadic terrorists, you support Hitler. Like, it's the same thing, for me specifically. Because, like, Hitler would be so proud of them. They murdered so many Jews. They burned so many synagogues. They bombed us. Wow, they bombed us so much. Like, Hitler didn't even get to bomb Israel because there wasn't no Israel, you know? So he is so proud of you guys for supporting him right now and, like, advocating to kill us as Jews. And, like, he loves you guys. So if you care about your, like, moral compass, I would suggest you, like, look at the world in an objective way, and not in a way that makes you look better, because people who are dying don't give a shit about if you look good by other people or not, if you're politically correct or not. That you look like you support women but you don't, that you look like you support marginalized groups but you don't. So yeah, I know this video had a lot, but I need to use my platform to inform people about this, you know, because I think we got lost in, like, the sides, in the, like, choosing sides situation, right? Instead of the actual problem. The actual problem is how fucking influenced are we as humans, you know, that we get indoctrinated like this. You know, like, the pro-Israeli, how do you call it, protest, the pro-Israeli protest are like third maybe the size of a pro-Palestinian protest. What is wrong with our generation that we think, like, genocide is cool? Like, I don't know what we think, but yeah. So us as women, let's just, like, uplift women and actually help them. How about, like, the women in your life? Don't even think too far to just, like, fix every woman in the world, but just, like, how about helping your sisters and like, I was about to say brothers, but if you hate men, then, like, okay, I'm not gonna tell you not to hate men, but, like, equality, you know, that's, like, defeats the point. But, like, your brothers and sisters in a human way, you know, because we're all brothers and sisters, and in that way of the fact that we are all the same species, the human species. So let's make this world a better place. Please, let's do that. Okay? Let's not talk women down. Let's uplift them. Let's not get them scared of telling what happened to them. You know, let's give them a place to share what they've been through. Let's not criticize them when it shouldn't be criticized, you know, like the Israeli women who were raped and kidnapped and killed and whatever, and people told us, prove it, even though the Me Too movement that is very heavily dependent on the fact that we don't have to prove it. But I guess the Me Too movement that we know today doesn't give a shit about Israeli women. And like I said, if we don't do something about this today, tomorrow it will be Albanian women, and after that it will be German women, and after that it would be American women. It will always be something else, you know, because when the Jews are not here anymore, they're not gonna have it's not gonna stop all of a sudden, you know. They're not gonna stop all of a sudden. They need to, like, release that somewhere else, you know. So they will attack Egypt, and they will attack India, and they will attack, I don't know, you know, that's what I'm saying. So you're not just, like, taking care of us Israelis, and, like, no, it's taking care of the fucking whole world. Okay? So let's be proud, strong women and do the best that we can to share positive, uplifting information, and also correct information. And also, let's not support Islamic Jihad. Please, let's not support terrorism, because we are not like Hitler, right? So why would we support acts that are even remotely similar to his? I know he was a painter and I paint, but like, what the fuck? It doesn't have to do anything with it, you know. But like, yeah. So I'm just like, yeah, I said, I think, everything I've wanted to say, and just like, I hope it helped you understand the situation in a more objective way and understand that there isn't really sides, only common sense of human perception, and to let you know that, feminism doesn't care about you. Feminism, as you know it today, it doesn't care about you. It care about its agenda. And we, egalitarian feminists, or like actual real feminists, that can be women and men, right? Because men are feminists too. Then, like, we don't want to be associated with those organizations that tell us that we are unworthy of them protecting us because we're women of a specific descent. Like, this is not feminism. This is not equality. I would say, let's make our own feminist movement, feminism with no bounds, like feminism who doesn't see your ethnicity, and feminism that doesn't see, it's very idealist to hear that, but if you can actually use your common sense, it's very easy. Problem is, common sense is not so common these days. So this is the end of my rant. I'm gonna end it here. I was just very upset about this, and I wanted to talk with you because I had to take it out somewhere, right? So yeah, I do hope still that this finds you and perhaps helps you become more human, or perhaps helps you understand that there's more people like you who think the same way as you do, if you think the same way as I do, and you're not alone, because this whole madness is going on surrounding us, and everybody seems so wrapped up in it that nobody's actually exercising common sense. So I'm here to remind you that this is what we need to do: exercise common sense. And that's it. And I love you, and I hope we can support each other throughout this period of wars and a very uncomfortable experiences. And I hope that no one feels left out of this world. Nobody feels rejected, and nobody feels like they shouldn't be here. Because that's how we Jewish people feel right now, after people burning down our synagogues. And did we burn down a fucking Mecca? No. A temple? No, we didn't. But they did. And nobody condemned them for it, because we had it coming, because we're Jewish, So it's kind of annoying that the whole world sees you as a reject, but it's fine, because truth prevails, and I do believe that truth prevails and good prevails, and we as light workers on this planet, in this world, we're here to uplift the vibration and make those humanitarian perspectives that are actually humanitarian and not liberal humanitarian politically correct shit, actually humanitarian beliefs and perspectives. I believe it's very necessary, and we need that, because if we didn't have that, we were already dead. Jewish people were already dead, So yeah, I would never want anyone in this world to feel this way. Not men, not Christians, not Muslims, not British people, not Palestinian people. No one. I wouldn't like anyone to feel rejected by the world. But, when you do something, it has consequences, right? So if you organize a terrorist attack, the most heinous in history so far, other than the Holocaust, then you're gonna get backlash. What do you expect? Start a war without it starting? That makes no sense, Do you think America, if ISIS would come to New York one day and just fucking start shooting everybody with semi-automatics and would just like throw grenades at everyone and just like take women and rape them in the middle of the streets and shit like that. But do you think American people would just be like, oh no, they're oppressed? No, they would fucking delete them from existence. Delete them from existence, because that's what Americans do. They're colonizers. But they're saying we are. Anyway, yeah, it's been a heated session with you guys, and I actually like talking about this because I felt like it was really needed, and it was really I had to get it off of my chest, basically. So yeah, I love you guys, and please stay safe. Please like get your correct information, and please take, first of all, everything with a grain of salt, and second of all, think as a humanitarian, as an actual human, not as something society programmed you to be, you know? Because also universities and colleges, they do program us to be in a certain way, like school does. Like you know, primary school, high school, like that programs us too. So universities, one hell of a programming thing, you know, like they're the most successful programming system ever. So don't fall into those beliefs and like indoctrinations, because that's a doctrine too. The fact that it's not violent, it doesn't mean that it's not a doctrine, you know. So please be aware of your information, of your, like, be mindful, basically. It's what I'm saying. Because like, if you feel like it is justified to murder anyone, or to kill anyone, or to assassinate anyone, or to actually commit genocide on a very specific group of people, then you are evil, but you're just not aware of that. And I'm sorry, I'm the one breaking it down for you like that, but you had to hear that, you know. And I have this thing, I'm an Aquarius with a fucking Capricorn in my Mercury, which means I have a very big tendency to like the truth, right? So, you know, I know some people don't like the truth because it's painful, and it's like, you know, you're like, what the fuck am I supposed to do with this truth? Like, I'm just me, like, you know, I can't change anything. Or that's how we are programmed to believe, you know. But like, how do things change if not people change them? You know, things don't just change by themselves. You know, I'm gonna take Alexander Hamilton is like the best example ever, because if he wouldn't write the essays that he did, or whatever, he wouldn't write for like the papers in the Caribbean and like share his like talents or whatever, people wouldn't know that he has this inclination to be super smart, to be super successful, to like capture audience. Like, people wouldn't know that, you know, if he wouldn't do something about it. And they wouldn't like fundraise to send him on a fucking ship to America, you know. So if, in case he goes there to study and becomes a doctor and like comes back and like saves everyone, you know, like because if he wouldn't have done anything, he would have stayed in the fucking Caribbean, probably would have died too, you know. So that's what I'm saying. If you, and also I came from the hoods, I grew up in the hoods, you know. In the hoods, everybody tells you this is the best you're gonna get. Like, we're not like normal people. Normal people, they go to school, they have a job, they open up a business, they have money, they can, you know, they have a put together family. But we are not like that, you know. That's how it was also presented to me in the hoods, you know. We always do drugs. That's our only way. That's our only way of making money, also, because that there was a drug empire in my neighborhood. And we've never heard of fucking birth control, so we're having a million kids and just like letting them roam the streets without, and do drugs and prostitution in the back, you know. Well, our kids is like are roaming the streets, and you know, this was normal. And you know, at some point, all of the people around me were indoctrinated into that too, and they started delving into crime, you know. So I guess it's like a way for me to explain to you that indoctrination can come in any way, any form. It doesn't have to be violent. It doesn't have to be terrorist in its nature to be indoctrination. Okay? And it's okay to admit that you have been indoctrinated. It's okay because it happens to us every day. Social media is a doctrine and indoctrinates us. Like, fast food is a doctrine, and we are indoctrinated as fuck. The fucking school system is the biggest doctrine of the fucking world. But we just like accept that, and we just like aren't, well, perhaps sometimes we aren't aware of that to like get out, but just be aware of the fact that it is a doctrine, so perhaps think for yourself, be responsible for your own thoughts, and don't blame it on the way you were brought up, and don't blame it on the way you were like taught in high school or university, because you are a person with their own core beliefs and their own morals, and indoctrinations can take that away from you, but you can take it back. You can recall your power. I believe in you. I believe you can go through this, through any indoctrination, even like a narcissistic abuse by your partner, by manipulation, whatever, by your parent, that's also indoctrinating, so everything could perhaps be of influence to your mind, if you don't grab it by the balls, and be like, yo, this is my mind, I think these thoughts, I know it makes it harder to shift the blame after that, but when you think your own thoughts, no one is to blame, it's a natural process. But we as humans, we just want to shift the blame on people to be right, because we let our egos work through us. We let our egos control us. Let's, for 1 second, understand that me and you, there is no difference between us other than our limiting beliefs, because me and you are the same person. Me and you are both the universe experiencing itself in a human form, right? So I have the power of the universe just like you do. It depends what we do with this power and if we're aware of that or not, right? If we choose to be aware of that, we have to take responsibility for that power, which means we have to lead it in a good way. And if we don't, there's consequences. You know what I mean? Yes, sometimes if we do, there's also consequences, because we live in a demonic world, whatever, fallen state, whatever, how do you want to call this, But it's just like a world that is equally balanced by good and evil, It's not like the purity of the good, it's not like the darkness of the evil. It's a balance between the both, which is karma, I love how like I talked about like politics and like shit like that this whole time, and now I'm talking about like my spirituality. But yeah, so basically we are not different, we are the same person, and if you cannot see that, then I cannot make you see that. You will have to come into that conclusion yourself. And some of us have hatred inside of us that stops us from actually relating in that way to other people and saying that person is me. It's a mirror to myself. Everything you see around you is a mirror to your inner world. So like once you actually realize that, and once you actually acknowledge that fact, you are unlocking your power. And that power can actually help people in need, can actually help marginalized groups, can actually help lift oppression. Like, we're doing it all wrong because we're still differentiating ourselves from other people, other races, other genders, other ethnicities, other everything, other zodiac signs. We keep like ourselves disconnected because we are afraid of the responsibility that we're gonna have once we are aware of the fact that we are connected. Sometimes it's easier for us as humans, with egos, to just shift the blame on other people and say it was his idea. I was just like, I didn't know any better. It was just like his idea. I didn't know anything else because I didn't fucking open my mind and thought by myself, because my ego told me that this person is right and I should follow, because that would make me look good, that would make me socially acceptable, that would mean I might be doing something of like grandiosity, even though I didn't think about it critically for 1 second. You know how those people who get like sucked into like I'm having like beeps in my ear. Those cult leaders who indoctrinate people and on lies too, and like they say it's lies too, but it's inconsistent and it makes no sense, but they're the people who, well, how do you call them? They're students, they're followers, yeah. Well, they believe them, and if you're gonna tell them, well, no, they even said themselves that make no sense, they would be like, no, you make no sense. Like, of course it makes sense, Like, I saw on Netflix a documentary, How to Become a Cult Leader, and one of the episodes, they talked about Heaven's Gate and like Marshall Applewhite. It's iconic as fuck to all the people who are immediately interested in the occult. So they had one of the people who left before they all killed themselves, yeah? He was there 18 years in that cult. And he said, I believe Marshall Applewhite, I believe he's in a spaceship somewhere. I believe he went into the next level. Because they believed that humans, like, there is another level to evolution, which means becoming an alien, and which is like complete enlightenment or whatever, and they float around in like spaceships and things like that, and it was like the psychedelic 60s, so like everybody fucking were high on LSD, which is also, if you are not completely sober, it's also a very good way to manipulate you into a doctrine, to indoctrinate you, So those people, they believed that they need to do specific things in order to become an alien and float on a spaceship. And after they all drank poison deliberately, even though some of, well, no, that was a different one. No, this one was actually, because there's so many cult leaders with this MO, so, like there's so many politic leaders with the same MO of indoctrination, like terrorism and shit like that, rodents and like tyrants and shit like that. I said rodents, and because like, and rodents is not the word, but it's like in like my language, it's it makes sense. Never mind. Tyrants, basically. But yeah, so this person knew they all drank poison and they died because he told them to, because the police were coming, or something like that, or like he didn't have much time left to live. I don't know. I don't remember exactly the cause, right? The reason. But that dude who was there 18 years was just like, yeah, good for them. Oh my god, they did exactly what they said they would. And now I believe they are aliens. And he did believe that. So basically, what I'm trying to say is that it's very easy to indoctrinate people, And it's very easy to even turn them against their own people, Like women in the UN, right? They are indoctrinated by this oppressor mentality that, oh, they're oppressors, whites are oppressors, white people are oppressing minorities and marginalized groups, even though there's only one Jewish country in the entire world, which means we are a marginalized group in this world, but they don't give a shit, because we're white. This is the doctrine that we're actually not white, most of us, you know. I happen to be white because I'm Slavic, but like, and also people like of Aryan descent would also say that I am not white because I am Slavic. You know what I mean? Like, basically, the women in the UN got indoctrinated to believe that white women cannot be harmed, deserve to be harmed as well. And they condone it because they are indoctrinated. So let's not get fucking indoctrinated, okay? Let's start using our own brain and our own minds and our own fucking autonomy to live on this planet, because if we don't do that, we rather be dead. Like, we rather be dead. Like, if this world cannot like battle Hamas with this, and like ISIS and like those terrorist organizations, and they fall into their psychological warfare, then we might kill ourselves now, you know, before it gets any worse, before they take over the world, before they start terrorist attacks in other places that are not Israel that people actually care about. Let's not wait for that and just kill ourselves now, because that's what's gonna happen, you know. So I'm sorry, I'm very mad, I'm very angry, pissed off, and that has been it all for today. I love you. I love all of you. I know some of you hate me for no reason, just because I'm Jewish, but I don't hate anyone because I love all of you, because you are me. We're all made out of the same dough, which is the energy that created the universe. We're all basically the same cookie, made out of the same dough. Yeah, it's a different shape, whatever. Perhaps this has a little bit more color because you got them, you put them in the oven a bit more than the other batch, but like it's literally still the same dough. It would, you know what I mean? So yeah, I'll shut the fuck up now. I have to record my song today, you know? Like, I didn't say this enough, but I'm actually coming up with a song. I'm releasing a song about the roommate. Actually, I want to release an EP. We'll see how it goes. I'm actually doing my best, but 2 songs are planned for this, right? Sugar Thief, that is about my roommate who stole my sugar, and and Betrayed Aquarius, which is when my best friends betrayed me, you know? And yeah, if you want to listen to those songs, they will be out on December 28th. Fingers crossed, amen, I hope so, you know, like everything goes smoothly like the plan is, you know, and everything like that. But I will have to make myself tea now and just like relax my voice because I want to record my song today. So and also go follow me on Instagram, and I upload uplifting content as much as I can, and you know, peace and love content and shit like that, you know. And perhaps if you would enjoy that, I have an OnlyFans as well, and I have a podcast that is in Hebrew, but you know, just today I saw like this post. I'm gonna read it to you because I think it's really cute, you know. Hold on. Yeah, okay, it says it's by Brand and Collinsworth. I don't know. Brand and Collinsworth. I don't know, okay? Jesus was a radical, non-violent revolutionary who hung around lepers, hookers, and crooks, wasn't American, and never spoke English, was anti-wealth, anti-death penalty, anti-public prayer, but was never anti-gay, never mentioned abortion or birth control, never called the poor lazy, never justified torture, never fought for tax cuts for the wealthiest Nazareth, never asked a leper for a copay, and was a long-haired, brown-skinned, homeless, community organizing, anti-slut-shaming, Middle Eastern Jew. That is Jesus. That's what Jesus was. And here I said, when I read this, I was just like, oh my god, when he resurrects, we fucking need to like sit on a joint. Like, I will invite him to my podcast. When Jesus resurrects, he's gonna be so cool. Like, I said I'm Jewish, and it has nothing to do with the fact that with my beliefs or anything like that. The fact that I love Jesus in the sense of like this character, right, that is like peace and love, that is a walking fucking hippie, in the Jewish doctrine, Jesus is seen as a sinner, as somebody who like manipulated the bounds of reality too much and used his power for bad, and actually has a different complete story from the one in the like New Testament or whatever. But it doesn't really matter, because my point is that I have a podcast, it's super cool, and it's in Hebrew, but it's like it's called Hits Blunt, and I would definitely invite Jesus once he resurrects to the podcast. So when that happens, we'll have New Earth by then. So stay tuned for me inviting Jesus to my podcast. Yeah, I love you guys, and I'm sorry this was a heavy video today, but some things just need to be said. And I love you, and I know you can do it, and I know you can support people, because you would like people supporting you, right? This is the price. Support other people. I love you. Stay safe. Spread love, please.